That'll definitely work. All right, we are live there. That means I should go back here. Oh boy, go. And this one can get restarted. See how long that one lasts. All right, my friends. Greetings and welcome to another episode of Positive Empfluence here on Devil Dog Addiction. Today we're talking about nature. We're talking about how modern life disconnects us from ourselves, why doomscrolling and overstimulation keeps us emotionally exhausted quite often. But my friends, before we get into all that crazy stuff, we need to welcome a very special guest here to Positive Empfluence. The first guest ever on Positive Empfluence is Esteban Ortega.
What's going on, guys?
A good friend of mine, a classmate of mine, a colleague of mine, and someone who has a deep insight into his own mental health journey. And just give us a little rundown of who you are, my friend, and what you represent and what's going on right now.
Well, as Nick stated earlier, my name is Esteban Ortega. I'm classmate, colleague, friend of Nick's, and we met at IMS. I believe it was last year. So,
what are you working on these days right now? You're doing videography, you're working on photography. What are some things that you're working on personally for yourself?
Honestly, yeah, you're right about that. Photography and I have a professional photography page on Instagram. If you guys want to give it a follow, it is eyes_of_ST.
Nice, sounds good. We'll definitely put that in the comments on the bottom. I want to kind of talk about the fact that videography and photography is a very good medium for people that deal with ADHD, because we are constantly evolving in the craft. It's not like it's going to stay the same way forever, and it's consistently updating. And while you're out in the field, it's just you, your subject, whatever medium you're using, video or photography, and you have to figure out how to pull the best picture out of what you're looking at any given moment. And I've seen Esteban out there doing his thing when he gets into the mode of photographer. And I can tell you, doing this type of stuff can take you to a place that is like almost like therapy, kind of.
It can be therapeutic, but it can also be like very, like, the way I look at photography, dude, now at least, it's like you're like, you being a military vet, you could probably understand this. You're like a sniper, you know. You're like a sniper, dude. Like, you're more like secluded to yourself. Like, people wouldn't even notice that you're there until you come up to them and be like, "Hey, look, I got a picture of you with your finger up your nose." Like, dude, what? Like,
that's funny,
you know.
And especially in today's day and age, where people walk around with their faces in their phone. You know what I mean? Like, you could be like right in front of somebody's face, and you're like, and they're like walking towards you, and then all you're gonna see is this. Oh, crap. That's all you see every day, day in and day out. And my friends, that is kind of a little segue into what we're talking about today. The idea that we have gotten away from nature, away from creativity, away from the stewardship of the land and animals. Not in a sense that everybody needs to be out there with like a shepherd's crook, you know, like shearing sheep and doing that type of stuff, which is pretty cool if you do that. But being able to connect with something deeper than just ourselves and the, you know, objects that are around us that aren't living, you know.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I would say that was kind of silly. They're like, oh, the things that are not living. Oh, yes. Some could say that when Esteban and I put our heads together, we still have only half a brain. But of course, today in Positive Empfluence, we are going to teach from multiple religions. Okay, you can't get the human experience without delving into some sort of philosophical take on what the soul is, what life's purpose is, where are we from, what is the point of all this, what is human consciousness, questions that could drive people mad and have. I mean, there's a reason why philosophers commit suicide quite often. We are exploring this idea that humanity was never meant to live entirely inside these concrete walls physically that we've created for ourselves and mentally that we have created for ourselves non-stop. Esteban and I have talked today on multiple things, and one of the things that we both can agree on is that we put ourselves in these prisons almost quite often times. We hold ourselves to outlandish standards. We find things wrong with ourselves all the time. If you see, there's a reason why the anonymous nonsense that comes out of people online is mostly negative. You can see when I put stuff on the show, people who go out there and they do crazy shenanigans will post a video and it's like maybe demeaning someone else or being a dick, and they'll get like a bajillion clicks and follows. And then someone who's just out there trying to, put good into the world, they get maybe like 2 or 3 clicks, a heart or 2, a like, and then a bunch of comments are like, oh, you fag, or like, oh, you piece of shit, like, oh, you're no good, and I'm like, dude, why are we hurling just hurtful things at one another? Well, I know why. It's because people are unable to process their feelings. And we're going to bounce forward in this when I was saying that our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual journey, they all intertwine. But today at Positive Influence, we're talking spirituality. Some of the mental health issues we may touch on is going to be ADHD, depression, addiction, emotional overload, natural health care, mental health care that doesn't mean you're like in a hospital getting medication injected into you. You know what I mean? Or you're not taking a medication to do this. So the goal today, my friends, it's not perfection. It's the presence of mind. So without further ado, my friends, we're going to get into it. So anything of that that seemed like a good old-fashioned time to you, Esteban?
Honestly, dude, like you would think like with me, I've never been one to dive too hardcore into religion and whatnot. Like I was a churchgoer as a kid. I've been baptized, done my communions,
right,
and whatnot. And honestly,
but was it more of a cultural thing, like, or did you kind of understand what was going on at the time?
I didn't understand what was going on at the time.
Okay.
And even to this day, like it's still. And I'm not gonna say I'm completely clueless because like I know the premise of it,
right.
But like one of those things that always got to me was when people would say like I'm having a rough time, and then you have someone say, oh, like don't worry about it, let God take care of it.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm having a rough time because I'm like a month behind on my mortgage. How is God gonna take care of that?
Right.
Like if I just sit back and say, oh, I'm gonna stop stressing about my mortgage and let God take care of it. With all due respect, like that's like you're basically saying, like you're basically taking a step back and saying, hey, I'm right here, drop a money bag in my lap.
Right. As opposed to finding a way to ask God for the motivation to help you find a way to solve this problem or something like that.
Help God,
which is more of a
ask God to give you the strength and composure, and then like compose yourself. Don't overthink things. Buckle down, focus, and hey, before you know it, you're gonna be out of the woods. At least that's just the way I've looked at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And Oh, geez. They flagged us for hate speech because I said the
F word.
yeah. Isn't that ridiculous? Anyway, if anybody sees that on there that we're flagged for hate speech, that's ridiculous. We were talking about like people call people names, like how we talk in regular English. But anywho, we're going to keep going on this. We're going to talking about the idea that asking God to just like fix your life, and you don't really have anything to do with it. I think that turns people off to religion, especially in the sense of like the Christian idea of, the God, Jesus, that type of thing. But here on Positive Empfluence, I really like to not get sucked into specific nuances of religion and debating on the fact of like what each religion, believes. And I think that's difficult to do sometimes, especially if people are the religion that we use that day. Now, see, here on Positive Empfluence, we don't use the same religion for every single thing we talk about. Today, we're going to use Christianity, and we're also going to use Hinduism, and there's another one in there, but it's you got to stick around so you can get into it. But the idea that I'm talking about today is that motivation to move forward as a person, as opposed to asking God to do something for you, that's really difficult for me to do. To get from, I know I need to do something, to actually doing it. So I've gotten a little bit better about planning my things out. What's your struggle with getting from A to B? What some maybe solutions or some successes that you've had finishing tasks and getting things done that you didn't think, that you maybe were, at first it seemed like it was a little hard, or you had to like kind of really buckle down and do it, and it wasn't something you thought you may be able to do?
Honestly, it's something I'm actually working on right now. It's my demo reel for school.
Oh,
my video demo reel.
Okay, let's delve into this.
I've never, like, when it comes to video editing, there's certain softwares that I'm familiar with, and certain softwares that, like, you put that in front of me, I'm gonna give myself a headache, and my headache's probably gonna translate over to you. So you're be ready for it,
Right.
So like with me, like if I were to clip together a bunch of my projects and things like that I did on my phone, like if I were to transfer everything over to my phone, I can use CapCut for everything, CapCut. Right. I know how to use CapCut, but when it comes down to that's not being the industry standard or whatnot, I would have to rip a lot of things off my phone, throw it through Premiere Pro, and then Premiere Pro is where I'm going to start giving people headaches, because that's I'm familiar with editing, but the way Premiere Pro works, it's not my strongest cup
of tea.
Yeah,
right. So when we get in these situations, it's definitely frustrating, and translating that into real action by ourselves is difficult. But then let's add into it the noise that keeps getting added to our lives from every single direction. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm trying to go one way, but I'm being pulled from a bajillion angles all at once. And sometimes I feel like I'm just going like, I'm going to help out. And I never really get anything done. What do you think about that?
Oh, trust me. Like when it comes to that, I can kind of I have a little bit of an example I can give you on that aspect too.
Throw it my way.
So I was working on Premiere Pro, right? I was trying to put together my video demo and whatnot, right? And Premiere Pro not being one of those programs that I'm very familiar with, I like to try to like lock in as much as I can, because one thing that I click wrong or one thing that I do wrong, I'm pretty much gonna have to start all over from scratch.
Oh, right.
Because I don't know how
like
to.
If you like went down the wrong path, you're like, oh, I didn't want to mess it up because I don't know how to get back to where I was.
No, even then, like I'll give you an example. So you know how there's different windows, right? Like there's different screens to where like you can venture completely off of the editing screen and just focus on everything, like with the sound, right?
Right.
How it brings up the sound, like the the sound waves and all that, right?
Right.
I don't know how to get back. I don't know how to exit from that sound page back to the original editing screen.
Oh, so you got like stuck on it?
Yeah, so I would have to literally exit completely out of Premiere Pro,
open
it back up,
and
now it's like
to the editing screen, and you gotta like start from scratch.
And then what drives me crazy is like I'm trying to lock in and trying to focus on doing what I'm doing, and then you have a student or someone else in the background. Hey, Esteban, come here real quick. I need to show you something.
Oh, right.
Or you're over here and they're literally like they're doing everything in their power, almost literally like, hey, I want to show you something. Okay, give me a minute. Hey, no, I want to show you something. Look, you're locked in on my computer. They're literally putting the phone in front of their screen, like, hey, look, it's right here.
Yeah, it's like not only are people so enamored, we're so enamored in our screens, but we're like, hey, look at my screen. Like, oh, not only is our screen perfect for us, we want to like show our screen to everybody else to distract everybody else from what they're up to. And when you add that type of distraction, I could also place that under pressure. I don't know if you want to stretch it that far, but I feel that sometimes I'm getting pressure from the world around me that I don't feel is really warranted. Like sometimes I feel like I'm so hard on myself that anything anybody else really does to me is going to be like small potatoes, compared to like how I talked about myself. So I really feel that nature and creativity and finding a way to understand our physical existence, because feeling yucky and feeling uncomfortable, if you can't fix it with a drug, what are you going to fix it with?
Alcohol.
No.
Not a drug.
I like that. But sadly, my friends in AA, we do consider alcohol a drug. But we all know that he said that in jest, but the part of that's what makes it funny, because it's true, right? Like, if you're not going to deal with your problems with unhealthy coping mechanisms, like shoving them down and ignoring them until they build up long enough, and then you blow up on everybody around you that you care about.
The soda bottle effect that I was telling you about. Remember that?
Yeah, And when you release, you got to release that valve, or else you will be that natural gas tank that explodes in the neighborhood, and all the neighbors go, "Whoa, what the fuck was that?"
I heard the blast from like 3 blocks away.
It blew the windows open. And CBS comes to Small Town USA to find out what happened, and be like, "Oh yeah, it's because they never talked about their feelings." The house blew up. How about this? When you want to talk about feelings, I know it's a difficult thing for people to think about, because on one side we have a generation of men who have been told that like you can't talk about this kind of thing. You sure as hell don't cry. You stick it through. If your word is your bond, and you can never change your mind on anything. Change is bad. You are who you are forever and ever. Tiger doesn't change its stripes and all that shenanigans. But in order to actually change and feel your feelings, you have to be present in where you are, and not always worrying about the past, and not always fretting about the future. Esteban, my friend, when was the last time that you actually felt fully present in a moment that you didn't feel that either somebody else or something else from your own life wasn't yanking you away?
Honestly, it's literally, dude, photography and videography, dude. Like with me, like, and people have tried, right? Like with me, before I've learned to use my camera properly, dude.
Right.
I would sit there for hours and hours and hours, like, I gotta get the perfect shot. People are like, "Hey, Esteban, come here real quick. Like, we're leaving. We're leaving. We're gonna leave you behind. Go ahead, leave me behind."
You're like, leave me. I gotta get the shot.
Yeah,
But it's like it's like just like not a shot that really means anything. You know what I mean? Like it's just another picture, right?
Yeah, I mean, with me, dude, that's the thing. Like with me, with my eye, I try to get my photography, and like every one of the pictures that I take, I'm looking at it like, okay, like
it needs to be an award-winning shot.
Almost, you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance.
So you got to do that before you pull the shutter?
No, it'd be more like, I'm thinking about it, right? Like the closest way I could think about it would be like, how can I get this picture to look like something you would see on the calendar? You know, like how you flip into the calendar pictures, you see a really nice picture of a waterfall. How can I get this picture to look like
the calendar
quality? You know what I'm saying?
Calendar quality.
And I'll sit there.
Don't steal that. We're making T-shirts that say that #calendar quality.
I'll sit there and be like, dude, I'll sit there and hold my phone trying to manipulate it and try to do that. And I've had my mom and my dad back when we would go on vacation, dude. Hey, you know, like we're in Wisconsin, we're leaving. Are you sure you want to get that shot? Yes. Yeah, but you know, it's a quite a ways from Chicago. Go ahead, leave me here. I want to get this
But this was even before you were in school, in media school?
I mean, somewhat, you know. But I can kind of say yes because, again, that was back when I didn't know all about the ISO and all about the shutter speed and whatnot. So my photography was just like, okay, like the sun's blurring in the lens.
Right.
How can I manipulate my phone so instead of the sun beaming right in the middle of the shot, like how can I get it to where, you know, how can I manipulate the sunlight without having to mess with any of the settings on my phone?
Right.
Because I didn't know how to do that.
Well, yeah, that kind of brings up two things. When we go through life and we start learning better coping mechanisms, we're going to find that we can learn things, you know? And I don't know about you, but how about this premise? When we're learning in school and we learn our alphabets or ABCs or whatnot, when you learn something and you did good on a test or someone was like, hey, good, you learned that felt good, right? Like it felt good. But once we get past maybe like 7th or 8th grade, right, it's either expected that we do good, right? Or it's expected that we get certain good grades. Where is the positive feedback or positive reassurance from people in our lives going to come from? You know? And how many of us out there don't have anybody that's going to give them positive reaffirmations in their life, you know? And then people make fun of people who buy CDs where it's like, you are great, you know, and you're like, you're driving along, you can picture it, right? A stereotypical guy on like an old movie, right? Play. You're a brave man. You're a brave man. You can do it. You know what I mean, or whatever, some shit like that. But like
listening to
listen to the self-help type shit, right?
The little engine that could.
Yeah,
I think I can.
So I don't know about you, but I feel like I've been taught, not like by my parents sitting me down and be like, blah, blah, blah. I've been taught by society and been taught by people that keep telling me over again that like I'm bad, you know what I mean, or that I'm not good, or I'm not good enough, you know, or like what you want me to be is not like how I feel like I'm being, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, and we're, you know, in today's day and age, when people start talking like this, people go straight into like identity. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking, you know what I mean? Like people do that, right? When you start talking deep type conversations like that.
What was it that I was telling you earlier? Instead of referring to you by him or he,
yeah,
you're gonna be they now.
I'll be they from now on. And so the fact that people can't realize that being able to joke about our trauma and being able to talk about the things that are uncomfortable,
you're bringing up good points,
and being able to get talk about this type of stuff, it's not easy. So having a little bit of humor about it and not being so fucking serious about yourself is the only way to do it. You don't think that in AA, when we're all sitting there, dude, there's some reasons to be upset in AA, bro.
Listen to them.
That's right. The money that I have wasted that I feel like I could have put toward good use has just gone by the wayside. But that leads us into the main point of today's episode, is that money and things are not the purpose of life, and they are not going to make you feel fulfilled. The first verse today we're going to talk about is Genesis 2:15. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. Now, a lot of times when people spout the Bible off, they Bible thump it, and it's usually a verse full of hate. You know what I mean? They use the Old Testament. I usually only like to use the words of Jesus Christ from from the books, the Apostles Paul, or from the the Gospels of Jesus Christ, just the words in red that are supposedly what he said. But Genesis, the very beginning of the Bible, right? So anybody who thinks that they're Christian, right, who thinks they're Christian, who says they're Christian, and follows the teachings of Christ or the Bible itself, right? Here in Genesis, in the very beginning, he talks about how God took man. And look, even if you're not a Christian, it's interesting, because a lot of people believe this shit to be fact, right? And a lot of people believe it to be just complete malarkey. But regardless of what you think it means, it has affected a shit ton of people. And it affects the way people live their lives. It affects the way that they raise their children. And if we're going to use that as the thing to do, we'll try to take all the good things from the religions and maybe pull out the human aspects of it and just stick with the divine universal idea of the idea. And the idea of this is, my friends, is that humanity's very first role of any job in the whole world that God gave us was to tend the garden and to take care of it. And, Jesus uses parables about fruit and bearing fruit and seeds on paths and, seed sprouting. He talks about that stuff all the time because the people of the time, they understood that. In order to make money, in order to eat, you had to work the ground. You had to do something for it. You couldn't just go to a Piggly Wiggly and put 25 cents on the counter and get some deep fried nonsense. You know what I mean? But this thing may not be so important as a physical or as like a literal thing, like, oh, they're in a garden working it, but a figurative idea that we are meant to become one with the nature around us, to not take for granted the outside world, and to enjoy our animals. Well, we'll talk about the animals later, but the forest and what do they call it? The fauna and the flora and the fauna, right? It all falls under the same thing. We got to steward the land. We have dominion over the animals. We named the animals, so we take care of them. What do you think, Esteban, about number one, getting in touch with trying to say maybe garden? Number two, is that a big thing, gardening in your family or relatives or whatnot? Because we always had a garden growing up. And number three, animals. What's your relationship with animals, and how have they helped you or hurt your journey?
I mean, dude, when it comes to these topics, I can spout on for forever because my grandpa, he had a farm, and
oh, nice.
Literally, dude, like,
hear that? He had a farm.
My mom would take us from, like, I was born and raised in the city of Chicago, or in the west suburbs, I should say. So we would go on vacation to Mexico. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It was all fun.
Yeah,
it was all fun. It was all fun and whatnot, right when we were with my aunts and my uncles, because they lived in town, and like there was a bunch of things to do in town, right?
Right.
A bunch of fun activities or whatnot. Now it's like, hey, like, you think it's fun here? Wait till you get to the farm. It's really gonna be fun. Is it really? All you're doing all day is literally, dude. Like, I looked at my mom after one day of being on the farm, right? I was like, so you guys took me from Chicago, where I'm, like, civilized and, working and whatnot, on the vacation, to stick me on a farm to work more.
Right. So it's not really a vacation.
Yeah.
It's like working.
What? But I mean, like, dude, and when we were working, like, it was bad. It was everything from, like, my favorite part of working was dealing with the barnyard animals,
Oh, right.
The cows, the horses, tending to all them. That was the fun part, dude. The bad that I remember, and this is like you're gonna look at me and be like, dude, that sounds like fun. It was fun, but it was just bad because of like the environment. You know what I'm saying, right? Like,
so did they have to farm to make money to live?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
another thing that's more dangerous, because nowadays you have a small amount of people that have to farm for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to everybody doing their little share of farming themselves.
And that's the thing, dude. Like with us, when we would do it, like my grandpa would take two bulls. He would take two bulls, put like a big like a log in between them, right? And he would just say, all right, like one of us is tending the bulls, making sure that they're like, you know, walking in
a real
order.
bull.
Yeah. And then the other,
how old were you?
Another one of us, I was
You
about,
could have been that big, were you?
I was about like 10, 11 years old.
Oh, so you weren't full size yet.
I wasn't full size, but here I am making sure two bulls are like walking in line while my brother's walking behind. Like he's walking behind the bulls as they're dragging the post. He's fertilizing, so he'll drop some whether it be crops or fertilizer or whatnot. He's doing that.
Nice.
So he's doing this. Like I'm walking in front of him, and he's just got a big burlap sack of God knows what, just handfuls.
Oh, so he's not even doing this with modern equipment. Jeez.
It's all third world, dude.
Well, see, now that right there is a prime example that kind of leads us into what we're talking about, is how people can feel disconnected with the natural world these days. And then we have a far extreme where here we have a group of people that like are really working the shit out of the land, right? And then here you go from the city to this foreign world almost, right?
I am
like the first time you had been there, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I'm
you're
over
like,
here
what the
thinking-
heck is this?
I'm over here thinking like, okay, well, you know, the farm sounds like it's gonna be a really fun time, so I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, pack all my really nice clothes, my nice new white shoes. I regretted that decision.
Yeah. So I think that sorry, we got to keep going about so that right there is a cautionary tale about farming and the natural world. And of course, it also goes to show that just because you say something like, oh, this is a great thing, doesn't mean that every version of it is good, which is kind of a cool lesson to learn.
I mean, that's the thing, you know, it all depends on your perspective of it, you know what I'm saying, right?
True, right.
You like it all like with me.
And it depends who went through it, right?
Yeah,
like
with
what
me,
you got from it.
With me, I was born and raised in the city, dude. So you take a
city slicker.
You're taking a city slicker. You're throwing them in the farmland, dude.
And that's a recipe for that. Sounds like a movie.
I mean, with me, it's like, okay, like I'm so used to like getting out and about, walking around and seeing the sights. What sight is there to see when you're just walking? When you're walking in the barren, like
yeah, when you're walking in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That all you see is farm and like farm animals. You turn to your cousin, you ask your cousin like, "Hey, what do you guys do for fun around here?" "Oh, we work."
We work for fun.
What? Like,
and that, my friends, is a valuable lesson to learn, because working as your purpose for life is not what is the purpose of life. You know, so many people think that, you know, you work your ass off, life sucks, and then you die, right? And we've just kind of come to accept that a lot of times. And I do want to talk about that further, but I wanted to get more upon more about your interaction with the idea of animals. So that was your negative. Well, not that was your experience. I shouldn't say negative. That was your tough or a lesson learned.
Honestly,
about out there doing. You probably learned some good stuff.
You
probably connected with your family too.
There was some fun times, dude. Like honestly, wrangling the bulls and making sure that they're, you know, like doing their thing while we're doing our thing. That's one thing. But then, you know, like after, you know, like on days when we weren't working on my grandpa's farm and we were actually just hanging out.
Right.
Oh, dude.
Good times.
I got to ride horses. I got to squeeze my own milk.
To milk the cows and all that.
I got to. As disgusting as that sounds, dude, I got to milk a cow.
No, we used to do that on the old Mayberry farm back in Michigan. So that was a good time.
I used to do that. I used to. My favorite part of my grandpa's farm was chasing the chickens and the piglets.
That nice.
The best times, dude.
We're thinking about
elusive little motherfuckers too.
They grease it up and you had to chase it around and grab it like
No,
that?
it's, bro. Okay, you're trying to
How big are they?
little piglets,
Little babies,
little piglets.
little ones.
You know, you're messing with the piglets. They're running around squealing, not knowing what the hell's going on. And then you got mama. And then you got
she's
mama
probably
bear
not
coming.
happy that you're trying to go after her baby.
She's charging at you like,
She's
hey,
snorting
like,
at you and everything.
back up.
She's like going.
Yeah. She's charging at you full force, trying to knock you over, trying to tell you like, hey, back up.
Potbelly pigs?
Yeah.
So they're like big and chunky.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So the animals, there's so many animals in the world. You know what I mean? We have so many animals that are on land, and then in our oceans. I mean, good Lord, they're discovering new animals every single day. You know, all around our oceans. So it's. I feel like our generation, not generation, but like our civilization with our technology that we have, it's just increasingly making our existence digital. You know, and a lot of things that exist only in digital platforms only exist in, theory. You know what I mean? Like they're all zeros and ones. They're even selling art online, like the special cards that you can buy, they're just digital files, and I know that people are going to make money off it. So go, oh, listen to this ass, he doesn't know what he's fucking talking about, and bit currency and all that stupid shit that people get sucked into. But these things are not sustainable. They're not long lasting, just like things that are worldly and that stuff, my friends. But when I talk about stewardship of animals, I like to think about taking care of like pets, right? Like civil animals that have been housebroken, domesticated. That's the word I was looking for. That have been domesticated, right? Like, what are some cool domesticated animals that we have? Besides cats and dogs, of course. Mice and rats. People keep those as pets.
Dude, you'd be surprised. My cousin, she was my cousin. May as well have been Steve Irwin of Elmhurst.
She was Dr. Doolittle.
Bro, right. Snakes, turtles, rabbits, dogs, like
ducks, like little ducklings.
No, like she like she was one of those people like we would look at her and when we would hear about her, and like when we would go to her house. Hey, I wonder what new pet she has now.
Right. It was always a wonder to go there because looking at something that's living is pretty cool.
And she always had those
They were babies.
Not babies, but like she always had those weird pets that those weird.
You wouldn't see anywhere else.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't say a weird pet, but like those domesticated animals. So where like. The most off the wall thing that I've seen my cousin have, and like at first I was like, "What the heck is wrong with you?" But then after I seen it and interacted with it, after my first interaction with it, I walked home. I told my mom, "I'm like, can I have one?"
Let me guess. Was it a snake?
No.
Was it a lizard?
Raccoon.
What?
My cousin had a raccoon.
No way.
I told my mom, I was like, I swear to God, I
didn't realize that you could domesticate a raccoon.
Neither did I. But bro, funny. I went home and I told my mom, I'm like, hey mom, if I find a raccoon in the yard,
can we keep it? Yeah, she probably flipped her lid.
You should have seen the look on her face. She's like, no.
She's like, where'd you get this idea? She's like, where is this?
She's like, no, those are wild animals. I'm like, but my cousin has one. She's like, that's different. Like that raccoon was raised differently.
Right. So here we have Esteban figuring out and experiencing animals that aren't ones that you'd normally see, when nowadays teenagers usually see these types of animals on YouTube videos, or on TV. In 2025, the CDC reported that more than half of all teenagers averaged over 4 hours of recreational screen time daily. So that's not screen time at school on their school thing doing stuff. That's recreational. And look, what does this statistic mean? Because it's easy to throw around big numbers about people watching screen time, but it means that people are addicted to stimulation and those dopamine spikes and that instant focus and need to get something right away. Screens are everywhere. And the people making money off of these screens are just destroying the way that we communicate and build community with one another. And I think that photography keeps us present in what we're doing. I think photography gives us a way to almost save our spot in time. And not only are we focusing on the individual aspects of it at the time, we now have that little piece of thing to visually remind us that this is what I felt like in that moment. And a lot of times, people say a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? Sometimes you can see something and it instantly brings you back to where you were there, And I think that helps out a lot, man. Do you think that focusing on your creativity has helped you feel better about things? Or do you think it's like opened up a can of worms that has made you too raw to be, you know what I'm saying? Like the double-edged sword type thing.
I mean, it definitely opened up a can of worms, but not a can of worms that like
not a can of rotten worms.
No, it's actually one of those like my creativity, right? Like with me, dude, it started off with my phone, like regular ass, point and snap, like, pictures and whatnot, right?
Right.
Now it's like, hey, like, now that I've actually gotten the hang of working with an actual camera,
right?
I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, you're teasing me. I want one of like what you have,
right?
Dude.
Yeah,
like an actual.
I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, I want an actual mirrorless, like full frame.
It's like you've learned just enough to know what you don't know, right? Or like you've learned just enough to be like, oh, I need that, right? You're like, I need that,
and now
to get the picture I want to get.
Yeah, and now when I do have that, guess what's gonna happen?
I want that.
I want this lens. I want this attachment. I need this. I need that. I need this.
No, I hear that, man.
And
it's a very expensive thing, and that's a dangerous rabbit hole to go down to, which is why we need to be able to practice that self-control, which is very difficult for me, oftentimes.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying, though. You're like, you got it. You're like, we want that, and now we can get this picture, and now
that's
we can
what I'm saying. Like
shot.
It's you're opening up a can of worms, but it's not necessarily a bad can of worms.
No, it's a good one.
It's a bad can of worms once you have what you have, and like the uncontrollable splurge comes into where, like you were saying. Now that I have a camera,
I need this lens for it.
I need this lens. This lens is $1,000. Those $1,000 can go into my rent, but rent can wait. I need this lens.
Or the idea that, hey, I have a camera, a lens, and there's tons of things I can do, and my skills are not up to what my camera can do, but I still want to buy more equipment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I'm like, that's what I've been looking out in myself for, right? I'm like, hey, I have this camera, I have this lens. I can make an amazing movie right now, right? With the equipment that I have. And actually, this is a good lesson in all things. Like, it's hard to be content with what we just have. A lot of times it seems the grass is always greener. Or sometimes I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I'm trying to catch up to people. It kind of goes back to that pressure of like, trying to keep up with the Joneses and whatnot.
Yeah.
And especially dealing with the world of radio and television broadcasting. We're dealing with the worst of the worst when it comes to like people with big ass fucking egos. You know what I mean?
Oh
or something
my God.
like that, or like prima donna divas.
Dude, I've always wondered, like, because I've seen movies like this to where, like, I've seen movies where there's a movie where, like, one of the scenes is an actor on an actual movie set because he's shooting a movie on a movie, ironically, right?
Right.
But next thing you know, it's like, as soon as like, I've always wondered about this, right? Like, this gave me that perspective to where, like, it's one of those, like, as soon as the director calls cut, you see the main character. All right, man, where's my beer and cigarettes?
Oh, right.
Like he goes from a happy-go-lucky, no beer, no cigarettes to the director calls cut. all right, give me a beer and a cigarette.
Right, yeah, because he's filming like a PSA or some shit. He's filming like a don't smoke commercial.
something along those lines. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like
yeah.
the whole thing is like I've always wanted to see, and I've always wondered how people can portray like one actor, like one happy-go-lucky. Hey, like there's no depression here. And next thing you know, the camera goes off, and oh god, I hate myself.
There's someone like Robin Williams, right? Where like if you didn't know him, I suppose you probably like I just thought he was the fucking funniest guy in town. Like a comedic genius.
Yeah, and next thing you know, no one knew. No one knew
Don't
that.
say what he did, or else
no,
probably
I know. No one knew.
I was reminding myself too.
No one knew about that side of him or whatnot. You know what I'm saying, right? But like, my whole thing is like, I'm thinking more of like, something along the lines of like Robin Williams and his personality, right? But like the goofy, happy-go-lucky, like, right? The goofy, happy-go-lucky, like you would look at him in the face and never think anything's wrong. And next thing you know, like off camera, hey man, like give me a beer and a cigarette. Hey, and kid walks up to him. Hey, can you sign my autograph?
Oh yeah, like that type of thing.
Fuck out of here, kid! I don't have time for this. Like,
that's funny.
Like
too big for his britches type thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
selfishness built in with greed, like wrapped in like with narcissism.
I've always wondered about actors like that, like to where like.
How did you get that way, or like
no, like
do you not realize what you're doing?
No, like just like the happy-go-lucky actors that you see on TV, right? Like your character seems a little too happy. I wonder what you do off of camera. Like I wonder what you do behind scenes. Like
yeah, I think we all have. We all have that aspect of like we have our masks. People use that analogy quite often.
Yeah,
we have our personas. You could call it that. We have our auras, or whatever you want to call them. That we put on, like get through the day. You know what I mean? Like how many different? This is a good question. How many different versions of yourself do you feel that you have to like sort through?
Well, for one, there's Esteban at home, I could be a little grumpy because of everything that I've got going on. Everything's always thrown on me, and everything's always my fault. So what the heck about that? But then then there's school Esteban, where like I can say things at school around students, and hey, like it's okay to say things there because we're students, and like we're technically like in a sense we technically don't know any better. And now it's like okay, like now we go on internships where we go out and about into the world, and like we do our media thing in the world, and now it's like hey, now it's not the time for jokes. We need to be up front, like professional and proper,
Right.
So I would say at least three different versions of me, know.
And now that's probably like, well, I'm not gonna speak for you, but for me, I have the same type of thing, obviously, for like the different where I go. But then on a like even deeper level, I feel like there's like versions of me on the inside that are like fighting to come upon the surface. If you're thinking about like maybe each of my very powerful emotions maybe have like their own little version that can take over myself at any given time.
You know what's funny?
You know what I'm saying?
When you say that, have you ever seen those Star Wars memes where it's Kermit the Frog with the hood over his head? That's a nice camera. You should break it. You know what I'm saying? Like, have you ever seen those memes?
Like, yeah, he's doing like an evil thing.
Yeah, he's like
Kermit the Frog is usually so nice, right? Or something.
It's Kermit the Frog, but he's got I think he's got someone's hood over his head, like a really bad character's hood over his head. Hold on, let me see if I can find it on. Let me see if I can see me.
All right. Well, he looks for that. I'm gonna make a fun tangent from what he just said. Kermit the Frog, who represents nature, and then the dark side of the force, obviously not good. The Stanford researchers reported in 2025 that even 15 minutes in nature measurably improves your mood and stress levels for urban residents. So if you live in the city, if you can't get to a park, if you don't have a car, if you don't have a helicopter, if you don't have a moped, you got to get outside. Get in the sun. Interact with people. Interact with our nature. If you live in Chicago, make your way to the beachfront. It's super cool. So why?
These memes. Oh, I just finished a healthy workout. You should eat a whole pizza.
Yeah, he's being an evil little sneak, right?
That's General Revis, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or who's this? Whose hood is that over his head?
It'll be Emperor Palpatine's.
Palpatine. That's what I was talking. But yeah, he's got Kermit the Frog with Palpatine's hood over his head.
Know that just like Kermit the Frog is wired for the light side of the Force, we all know that who would be the dark side of the Force? Probably Gonzo. He'd be a good Gonzo.
Hey,
or Fozzie Bear.
Why do you? I would say Fozzie, dude. Why do you gotta do Gonzo like that? Gonzo was my favorite growing up.
What? Gonzo
was my favorite growing up, dude.
Doing something crazy. Humans are biologically wired for natural environments. Nature, my friends, it removes the outside distractions. And it just allows you to be peaceful. It doesn't distract like the world, my friends. Now, sometimes we get stuck in our doom scroll. We get stuck in our YouTube holes. We get stuck in our phones. We get stuck in our clicks. Why?
Oh, you talking to me?
No. I'm just talking in general. Yeah, you that's on your phone hanging around like that. A mental health report in 2025 found that people experiencing depression symptoms were significantly more likely to report heavy social media usage. And all of you out there that do this, tell me, sleep disruption. How many times have I heard people that are dealing with the same types of things as me tell me, Nick, I sleep horribly, or I stay awake for long periods of time and then I crash, or I have mania and then I go into a bout of depression and doing of nothing, right? So here's the question of the day. Does social media cause depression, or are depressed people more likely to retreat to social media? And when they do, why does it make us feel worse?
Honestly, dude, like when it comes to that, I can only say one thing. Like, I try to like before I started coming to the Illinois Media School, I was doing a thing for myself to where if you go on Facebook and you go scroll through my profile pictures,
right?
I don't have a serious picture. Like, there's not a serious picture. Like, there's always. It's one goofy picture after the other, after the other, after the other.
Okay.
Because of the fact of, like, with me, I would post those goofy pictures. Like, I would on occasion change up my profile picture, but my profile pictures would just get goofier and goofier. Because of the fact of, like, with me, my whole goal was, like, I know there's so much negativity out in the world, and I know that, like, a lot of people are going through it in a sense, right? You never know who's gonna see it, right? You never know who's gonna come across that picture. Let's say you're having one of your darker days or whatnot, right?
Right.
You come across my goofy pictures on Facebook, and
maybe they could get you chuckling.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just a slight laugh, like a slight little laugh. Hey, I did my job.
Right, somewhere in the right direction.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to pass off a message where it's like, hey, it's not all bad, like without having to physically tell you, hey, Nick, it's not all bad. I can show you a funny video or a funny picture, get you laughing, and hey, look, you're laughing now.
Right.
So
there's a purpose behind it.
Yeah, you'd have to be a weirdo, dude, to like laugh at a funny video or a picture, laugh at it for a split second, and be like, ha ha ha, I'm still depressed. Like, damn, dude, yeah, that's creepy. I think you genuinely need help at that point.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, we're going to talk a little bit more about help in the next portion. But let's wrap up on this Garden of Eden section so we can move on to the next reading, the next religion. The main point of this is that the Garden of Eden was not just a paradise. You know, we talk about, oh, the Garden of Eden, it was a beautiful paradise. And then when God kicked the humans out, you know, he blocked it. Something about the angel will stand there with his sword of fire or some shit. We never go back. Anyway, the point of that, though, my friends, is that the Garden of Eden is not a paradise. It is a responsibility. We have a responsibility as humans because, if you want to call it, we're the top of the food chain that we know of so far, right? We are the civilization makers on the planet. There's not a higher order of civilization that we know of course, right? I mean, people do some stupid crap, so you can be easy to argue that we're pretty dumb, but human beings need that purpose, need that creativity and connection to feel mentally healthy. And yes, you don't have to do this stuff, but you may not feel mentally healthy. So, how about this? Mentally healthy, sometimes when we're not mentally healthy, we can't be productive. You know what I mean? Productivity kind of goes down. Now, here's where we're going to get kind of into a thing we were talking about earlier in depression. And some people just don't think depression's a thing. Some people think that if you're depressed, right, they put the quote, air bunnies up there. If you're depressed, right, if you're depressed, then you're just, you're not trying hard enough, or you just need to suck it up, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just, stiff upper lip and then just pull on through, right? It's going to be okay. What is the difference, my friend, between being lazy and being emotionally or spiritually overwhelmed, which I think are two very connected things? We'll get into that later. What do you think about this here topic there, Esteban? Do we think that lazy people exist? Or do we think that there's some explanation for everybody's, way that they do things? Or are we going to try to hold people to a higher standard of living? And this is just like a brainstorm question. There's no right answer for this one. I'm still trying to decide myself. In
a sense, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, if you ask me, because like, hey, I'm used to living life one way, right? Like, I think, the way I live, I take out my trash every 2 days.
Right.
You may take out your trash every 2 hours.
Right.
And because of the fact,
2 weeks.
Because of the fact that there's that difference in like, hey, this is how I do things and this is how you do things. I've had it to where people question me like, hey, why do you do things like that? And then I've had it to where people try to force it on me to where
they'll try to talk you out of what you're doing.
No, like they'll try to force it on me to a point where it's like, hey, that's not how we do things around here. We do it like this.
Oh, so they're like, they want you to change what you're doing.
Yeah, so like I said, like going back to the whole thing about the garbage, right?
Yeah.
I may take out my garbage every 2 days. You take out your garbage every 2 hours, right? Because of the fact that I'm not taking my garbage out every 2 hours, you're getting on me every 2 hours like, hey, that's not how we do things around here. Like, how many times do I gotta tell you, like,
So a lot of times expectations.
It's almost forced upon you in a sense. Right. You know what I'm saying? But
and then you feel bad, right? Sometimes.
Yeah, but then when you try to do that to people, like when you try to force your way or impose your will, people are looking at you like, oh, dude, like,
oh, you're forcing yourself.
Yeah, like there's no need to be a dictator around here, dude. Like, come on,
like
man.
The super double-edged or the double standard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, I like that example. Let's flip over the other side of this. If you care so much about something and you want to make a change, you want to make a difference, have you ever, maybe it's not because you cared about it, but just because you want to get something done and you feel like it's important to you, have you ever felt overwhelmed by something and then you end up not being able to do it? Or you procrastinate it too long and then it basically kind of like it's too late or something.
All the time, dude.
All the time.
All the time.
And that probably makes you feel, how does that make you feel?
I mean, like with me, right? Like I tell myself, hey, like I want to going back to the thing about photography, right? Photography's been one of those things that like when I was in my darkest moments, one of the instructors at IMS told me because I would always ask him like, hey, how do I get myself out there? Like how do I build a community? How do I right? How?
Right.
Just get yourself out there, kid.
That was the answer?
Yeah, and so I was like, wait, like, what do you mean get myself out there? Next thing you know, it's like I go out one day, and this is before Christmas. I go out one day. I'm spending the day in Millennium Park with the bean.
Right.
I did a mini photo shoot of the bean, and then how they had the big Christmas tree on like in the park right next to it.
Oh,
I was
see
just
the reflection off of it?
No, I was going. I was just going from the bean. Like the bean was over here, and then the tree was like in another section.
Right.
So I'm over here walking from the bean, going to the tree, just having the time of my life, just doing nothing, going on a photo shoot, right? And then I get back, and it's like, hey, like now that I'm looking through my work, this is a nice photo. This is a nice photo. This is a nice photo. Hey, I'm taking some really nice pictures. Does this mean I'm a photographer all of a sudden? You're damn right it does. You're in the beginning stages of it, but you can call yourself a photographer.
Right. And that's the key, my friends, is when you get from wandering and searching for your purpose. Because there's no shortage of people telling you, hey, this is what's going to make you happy. You know what I mean? Like everywhere people are telling you, do this, it'll make you happy. Do this, you'll be successful. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking self-help books out the wazizzle. But we're going to go with Hinduism for ours. The Bhagavad Gita, which is the spiritual book of theirs, 3:8 says, you should thus perform your prescribed duties. And this is the main part of it that I like. Since action is superior to inaction. So sometimes we get overwhelmed. Sometimes we get so worked up that we just kind of freeze or we procrastinate, and then a lot of things don't happen. And that's why I like to say that if you are not creating, you are destroying. And if you are not actively moving forward, you are moving backwards. And this, the Hindu reading here, my friends, of course, the sacred text, when Krishna and Arjuna are talking, and they talk about duty, discipline, meaningful action, a lot of things that the Hindu faith focuses on. But the point that I want to talk about in this is that when you don't do something, a lot of the times consequences happen. Because like if you don't do something that you know that you should be doing, whatever deadline or whatever juncture in time that's going to come along is going to come along, because time doesn't stop just because we have a bad day, and I think that's really hard to come to terms with, because failure, I would consider that a failure, right? Like if I procrastinated too long and I didn't get something done, and I've done that quite often, I'm like, shoot, I didn't get this in, I failed at this, right? And it's difficult to come back from that. What do you have any take on that one, Esteban, on trying to come back from failure or trying to overcome something once you felt like maybe you got punched in the mouth, not literally, but something along those lines, where you were embarrassed or like felt bad about it?
I will say this. When you say that, like I draw a relation back to my history in the food industry.
Okay.
For those who don't know, before I started doing the media industry, I've been working in the food industry for as long as I was legally able to work.
Like lots of us working those types of jobs.
There's always that one customer, or there's always that one harsh critic, like, hey, like I made a steak, like my steak is medium rare. Dude, your steak, your medium rare steak that you claim is as hard as shoe leather. Like, how is that medium rare? Oh, well, here, you know what? Let me take that back, like make an adjustment to it or whatnot,
Right.
Like, like you want it like more tender. Okay, I'll throw it in the pressure cooker. Like you want it this way. You want it that way.
Right,
Like, let
because
me
it's like,
make
dude,
my
we can't
adjustment.
uncook that shit. We can't go backwards.
I mean, a steak was a rough example,
Right, right.
but like something salvageable like that. Like to where like you make something. People are like, oh well, like that's different. That's not the way we do things. Oh well, here, let me get it back. Let me make my adjustment, and then I'll do it to your liking. Cool.
And then sometimes people were just, it was just never to their liking.
Yeah.
So some people are just unpleasable.
Yeah. Some people are like, dude, like you had. Some people are like this, dude, and I can understand why, especially when you're going to the higher end restaurants where you're spending.
Oh right, yeah.
You're spending like good money to eat. And you're gonna expect quality food, dude. And if you just serve someone, if someone walks into a 5-star restaurant and you serve them slap from underneath the dish pit, dude, like they're gonna look at you and be like, dude, what the hell? Like, I don't want to eat this. Like, no, here, take this back. Give me something I can actually eat. Okay, you bring it back a steak. There you go. Now it's something I can eat. Now I like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you also have those people to where like just that one time where you serve them slop. Nah, fuck you. I don't want anything to do with your restaurant anymore.
Oh yeah, they're walking out the door. Yeah. They're like up and out of there.
They're on the phone with the health department and
the food critic or some shit.
Like, they're on the phone with the health department and everyone else in the city. Dude, hey, don't come over here because this place is horrible.
And Yelp, and they drop like a scathing review online. They like take the time and effort. When I worked at Grease Monkey, they were all about you gotta get reviews. Like push. Hey, when you leave, go home and write a review online. And I'm like, dude, people don't want to go get an oil change and then spend 30 seconds or like maybe more for some of those people, if they don't know how to work a phone, trying to find the website to leave a freaking review. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people want to do that shit anyway. But anyway, we're getting off on the tangent of people and what they like and do. Avoidance is one thing when we don't do the thing that we know that we should do. Back to the Hindu teaching, the idea of dharma. Have you heard of, what dharma is? You ever heard of the term dharma?
I have not.
Your dharma in the in Hinduism is your sacred duty. Some people would consider it fate or the righteous path, or if you're Christian, we talked about Christianity earlier. A lot of people would say, it's God's plan for you, like that type of thing right there. But in the Hindu faith, they consider it dharma. And the reason I bring that up is because in order to do our sacred path, in order to do our purpose after we find our why, we need to have action. And inaction, like I said, if you're not doing something and you're going backwards, is choosing not to act while these consequences continue to pile up. And we see that in today's politics. We see it in today's leadership. We see it in today's government. We see it in today's school systems. We see it in the way people interact with each other, that they just ignore the consequences when bad things happen. And we cope with these things very, very wrongly. A 2025 study showed that rising levels of decision fatigue among adults. Adults are getting overwhelmed with all the crazy decisions we have to make, being exposed to digital notifications and algorithm-driven content. How about this one? How often have we looked on our phone and it has like an ad about something that relates to a conversation we had with a buddy? Have you ever had that shit? Tell me about how technology is like basically like intertwined in your life. You know what I'm saying?
You're listening, dude.
Well, that type of thing too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, where is let's see, where do you get your absence of technology in your day? Do you, or a lot of people out there probably haven't even thought of this question or this idea. do you make a actual time where you physically, mentally tell yourself, all right, I need to be off the screens and like in a book or in nature or just close my eyes or just meditate or just detach? Do you do that kind of thing?
Honestly, dude,
Look at he cracks up. He looks at me and starts laughing.
I'm worried about that because like when it comes to TVs and video games and whatnot, right? I have a 55-inch TV in my room and I have a Nintendo Switch.
Right.
My Nintendo Switch, yeah, it's a little outdated, but still video games, right? I have a TV, right?
Right.
I don't use my TV or play video games.
Okay, so that one's a good one. It doesn't get your.
But what I do, dude, what I do,
what I do, dude.
I do this. Like I'm laying in my bed, my TV's sitting there collecting dust. Hey, instead of watching something on my TV, I'm gonna watch something on Netflix.
It on your phone.
Or I'm gonna watch YouTube. I'm gonna, I'm not gonna stare at the big screen that's right next to me. I'm gonna stare at the small screen right in front of my face.
Right. And we know from the studies that like that's the worst kind of screen to watch. The one that's like right up in your grill. Shoot, does your phone do the thing where like my phone, it says if I'm not this far away from me, my phone will like, it'll stop playing. It'll say that your phone's too close. It's dangerous.
Oh no, I didn't. My phone doesn't do that.
Oh well, shit. Well, look at that. See, so some phones, and that's actually interesting. Then, so you have one company that is saying like, "Hey, this is dangerous," and then another company that's just like,
"Does your phone do this? Does your phone have like the blue light?"
So where? Oh yeah, to make it so it's not so hard on your face.
Yeah.
The kids. I love that, right? They're like, our society is so fucked that we're like, we can't put down the screens. We got to make special glasses so we can watch our screens all day.
or you know what? We're gonna put the glasses, those lenses companies out of business, and we're just gonna go with the smartphones. So you know what? We're gonna put the glasses companies out of business, and we're gonna give you a pre-installed orange light or a blue light on your phone.
Right.
So we'll
do the same thing with our children. That your children will come pre-installed with a screen inside their eyeball, and that's when we're gonna be definitely over the moon. But that time doesn't seem too far away. And when you think about it logically, in the idea of like, hey, think about when I'm of the generation when cell phones were first coming into like the mainstream. Okay. So I got my first cell phone when I was a freshman in high school. Okay. And it was a big deal. Okay? And it was only the Nokia. The only game on it was Snake. You know what I mean? And that, my friends, was the introduction to the age of cell phones, which now it seems like every year they get younger and younger as to when they get them. And I think it kind of hit a like cap, and now it's kind of bounced back because decent humans that haven't let their mind melt to mush yet are noticing that there's an issue here, that we've created a problem, and I think that we're just getting stuck in this dopamine trap. Look, 2025 research found that average attention spans during digital multitasking continue to decline compared to pre-smartphone generations. They have people that are alive before, I know this is going to blow people's minds, but there's still people alive who can remember what it was like before smartphones.
Oh, yeah.
What's your experience with that group of people?
Honestly, dude.
And how they approach technology. This is a cool subject, actually.
Honestly, dude,
like Ramon's.
Again, you okay. Take a farmer, right? Take a farmer who has absolutely no knowledge of like he has no knowledge of how to even work a Nokia phone to where like it's buttons, you know what I'm saying, right?
He's losing Snake every time.
No, like okay, right? You take someone who doesn't know how to work a cell phone at all, whether it be buttons or a smartphone, right? Ask them to dial a phone number, dude.
Oh, right, yeah.
The buttons are right there. Go ahead and just dial the phone number. I can give you the phone number 708. Yeah,
And they'd still be like,
how do I
what
do
do I
this?
do?
Yeah, and those are my grandparents. You know what I'm saying, right? Because their method of communication, bro, like they were never like the smartphone people. They were never the cell phone people. They were always.
Do they have a landline even?
No, it was always like, hey, I need to go. I need to go pass Nick a message. Oh, time to saddle up the horse. Get on the horse. Go ride a horse.
Right into town.
Yeah, all the way out to you. Hey Nick, I just wanted to pass along the message. Hi. Okay, bye. Go right back on the horse, like ride the way back, like, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it like? Do you think we're adapting fast enough to the changing technology, or do you think humans are way behind the curve of this adapting to it? And
honestly, I think
what do you think?
Technology is like advancing a hell of a lot faster than humans can keep up with, dude. Because
or at least be responsible with
that too. Because have you seen some of the stuff that AI can do?
In what genre? It can do stuff in every genre. It's insane.
Exactly. And that's some of those genres can get you in trouble.
Oh, you know? Yeah.
Hey,
how to build a bomb, that type of shit.
Not even that, dude. Hey, ChatGPT.
How to disrupt like
that,
the
or
grid or some shit like that.
Or I can give you something that can get you like in almost immediate legal trouble. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Hey, ChatGPT, give me.
How do I rob a bank or some shit like that type of stuff.
That stuff, or like kids, right? You want to
like dark web type shit. Yeah.
No, like kids. You want to give a kid.
Oh, you mean like when kids get into that?
Yeah. Hey, ChatGPT.
Oh yeah. Think about the questions kids ask.
Can you? Well, hold on. Hey, ChatGPT, coming from a 14-year-old. Hey, ChatGPT, can you make Ivanka, or can you superimpose a picture of Ivanka Trump on the naked body?
That.
You know, like shit like that, dude. Or even like what you were saying. Hey, ChatGPT, can you help me build a bomb? Can you help me do this? Can you help me rob a bank? Can you help me plot a murder?
Yeah.
Like, God, bro.
Let's not say that stuff too loud. TikTok is gonna flag us again. Jerks.
No, I mean that's just going based off of like what I've seen, you know, like AI can do a lot of scary shit these days, dude. You know?
If we want to move forward out of this idea that people get overwhelmed or they avoid or they do that type of stuff, it's important that we need to realize that to get through life, to make it through, which is what we're all just trying to do. We're all just trying to get by. We're all just trying to make it to the next day. We're all just trying to, feel comfortable a little bit, and a lot of us are stuck in this world where we have to be consistently stimulated or else we feel like we're, not living, and I see it in the addiction world. I see it in, the big money world. There's so many people right now that make so much money at the, expense of others. And some of the things that we were going to talk about are different than what I was thinking. But one question I want to ask today before we wrap up is, why do people not learn from other people's mistakes?
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Right. But why is that so always seem to happen all the time?
The horse may not like the water. Sometimes you got to give a horse a special kind of water for them to be able to drink. Or you got to fashion it. You got to fashion it a special way to where, like getting the horse to drink water is like less of a strain on him, and like, okay, like, let's just go ahead and like pump the water straight into my vein, dude. Go ahead, like,
Well,
I don't want to break my back and bend over.
Well, maybe not. I don't want. I'm not talking such a figurative answer. More along the lines of like, why have you ever made a mistake, or like say someone was like, hey, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do that, and then you do it, and then you're like, oh crap, you know what I mean? Or like you had to go back to tell someone, yeah, you were right, I shouldn't have done that, or yeah, maybe I should have listened. Or,
My
yeah.
knees, when you say that, my knees and my back start screaming at me.
Oh,
because
I was younger and people were like, hey.
I was always one of those adrenaline seeking like wild children, dude. That
Okay, I didn't know this about you.
Like the playground, right? You know, like there's certain ways you use a playground, right? Like
Right.
you know you slide down the slide, you know, like right or whatnot, right?
This story is already sounding fun.
Me, on the other hand, hey, a slide is meant to be used that way. What if I were to climb up on top of the slide and then just jump off the thing?
Oh God.
You shouldn't do that, Esteban. Yeah, I shouldn't, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I jump. Sure enough, I scraped my knee. Being a kid, you know, scraping your knees was a big deal as a kid, right?
Right.
You get up crying, holding your knee. Yeah, Nick, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. My knee hurts. You know?
Oh, that's funny. And so, did you have any broken bones as a kid?
Surprisingly not.
Oh, just lots of scars.
Yeah, just lots and lots of scars, dude. My knees, dude. Every time I look at my knees, I feel like a war veteran, dude. Because it's like, okay, then that scars from that story. That scars from this story.
Every scar is a good story, you know.
This scars from Vietnam.
Not right. The bad part about emotional scars is they also have stories, but they're usually not as fun to talk about as physical scars do, you know. But
I mean, some physical scars can be traumatizing too, dude.
Well, that is true. Sometimes a physical scar does happen because of some crazy ass thing and damages you inside and out. But we've already been going on for way longer than we were supposed to go. Before we end, Esteban, we didn't get into everything I want to talk about, but what is on? You got anything on your mind? Any burning concerns? Any issues that you feel, I don't know, that you got going on now, or anything that you need to get off your chest that could help the world?
Honestly, it's one of those things that I've been doing this a lot more as of recently. I've gotten pretty good at like shaking it off, like, you know. But
Like
as
Taylor
of recent,
Swift.
huh?
Like Taylor Swift, shake it off.
In a sense, my whole thing is don't beat yourself up. Don't beat, like, you know, like you make a mistake. I've been doing a lot of camera work as of lately, right? I've been doing a lot of camera work as of lately, and my camera work from my personal perspective, I've been lackluster. But I've been telling myself, like, I've been beating myself up about it, because it's like, hey,
like hard,
like don't slip up, like do this, like, come on, like, you know, like focus.
right?
The next thing you know, it's like I'm holding myself so uptight about that,
And you're missing it. It's like,
yeah,
it's
and
almost counterintuitive.
Next thing you know, I got my instructor telling me, hey, like, I walk up to my instructor, hey man, like, I had a horrible day on the camera. Dude, how long have you been doing this? A month? Yeah,
right,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you've only been doing this a month. Have you ever done this before? No. Dude, well then why are you so, like,
right?
It's, yeah, you know, like you're slipping a little bit, but you're only a month in, you're gonna get better.
You're not gonna be Joe DiMaggio on day one, you know.
Simple as that.
Every journey begins with a single step, right?
Simple as that.
All those great sayings that we run into the dirt that actually mean something.
Simple as that.
But my friends, you've been with us. You've been a great audience. You've been a great group of pals. I'm Nick Stevenson. This has been Positive Empfluence. This is
Esteban Ortega.
Esteban, run down the things that you have going on. Tell them your social real quick if you got anything like that.
I've been doing a lot of photography and videography for some prominently known clients. both through internships at school and little bit of dabbling on my own.
No, I mean, what about your Instagram page? What's that?
If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, if you guys want to get a view of what I got going on Instagram, follow me at eyes_of_SD.
All right, Eyes of Esty with underscores instead of spaces, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. That, my friends, is what we do, and we will catch you next time. Stay good, stay nice, stay positive,
Peace.
stay frosty, my friends.
Cute and cuddly, boys. Cute and cuddly.
All right, it's not quite done yet.